Hey guys, welcome to Coturnix Corner, morning musings, evening edition. Sorry about missing this morning, guys. The time changed, totally threw me off schedule, and I kind of been running behind all day today. So, but anyhow, I decided we'll go ahead and go live tonight, just so we didn't miss a live stream. Shout out to our sponsors. We got Go For Ridge Quail, HP Murray, and Hatching Time. Appreciate that, Andy. Both these companies donate stuff to give away on the live streams. Much appreciated. I know you guys appreciate it. HP Murray's been around with us for a while now. I believe we're going on our second year. So we appreciate that. And Hatching Time, they've been around since the beginning. So Hatching Time, thank you very much. We will be doing giveaways today, guys. We got a 30 count of Go For Ridge hatching eggs that will be given away, and a $50 Hatching Time gift certificate to one lucky winner. So if you guys are interested in either of those prizes, comment either Go For Ridge or Hatching Time or both, and we'll get you in the running for the giveaways later on at the end of the show. Don't know how long we're going to run tonight. I don't expect a whole lot of people in here due to it being a non-scheduled live. I imagine there's probably more people waiting this morning than we have right now. So, but anyhow, that's how that goes. And I got the cough back because I was out working bees today, and my smoker was blowing right in my face, and that doesn't help my throat at all. Let's see here. I've been doing some work on this new video. HP Murray sent me some hatching eggs to run a test. I don't know if you guys saw the last video, the incubator comparison video between the GQF Sportsman, the Brinzia Ova Easy 100, and the Hatching Time CT60. We did a just a feature comparison of those three incubators. But HP sent me just about 100 eggs, and I divided them up between the three incubators, and I got them set. I believe it was the day before yesterday, just to basically do a hatch comparison video and to go over some of the features as far as setting up the incubators for each hatch, stuff like that. So, but anyhow, I'm going to be working on that video. It'll probably be out in about 3 weeks. Once the chicks start hatching, I'll get a little bit of footage of that stuff, and when we go into lockdown, and then once everything's hatched out and we call the hatch, we'll go ahead and release the video then, so you guys can get an idea how well the incubators work. The one thing I do want to say about the hatch comparison video is I don't really want to use it as a comparison between the incubators as far as hatchability, mainly because everybody knows that shipped eggs are a gamble when it comes to incubating, and I'd hate to have an incubator get a bad name or a bad review because they got a lower hatch rate than another one. But we'll talk about that more when the eggs start hatching out. Also, today I've been working on the DIY incubator, the big one. It's the 240 bottle. Where I'm just about ready to go ahead and put it back on the website. We made a few changes. The biggest change was basically with the regulator, settings in the regulator, and the heating elements that we use. We're no longer recommending the incandescent bulbs, mainly because they're almost impossible to find anymore. But we're using the ceramic reptile heaters, and it took a little bit of tweaking on the bigger box. The smaller box went fine. The bigger box took me about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, to get everything dialed in the way I think it should work. So we are going to have them back on the website later this week if you guys want to put in an order for that, because I have had quite a few people ask me about them. All right, what else do we got here? One thing, and this is a little bit off topic that I wanted to bring up. I don't know how many of you guys are into keeping bees, but there's been some concerns going on right now in the U.S. With a major colony collapse disorder, they're calling it. Basically, I think just over 1 million colonies in the United States have collapsed, basically died out, and nobody knows what's causing it. A lot of the reports that we're getting right now are from commercial beekeepers, but there are a lot of hobbyists and sideliners that are having the same issue. My buddy from up in Ohio, Castle Hives, Brian over there at Castle Hives, I think he went into winter with 19 hives and came out with 3. So, yeah, it's crazy. But I'm just curious if anybody in here also keeps bees, if you guys have seen any issues or know of anybody that's had any issues. I'm kind of trying to get a, not really a tally, but I'm trying to get an idea of how many hobbyists have noticed any issues with their bees as far as this collapse disorder is concerned. So if you have anything, or you know of anybody that has had issues, comment over in the chat room, what you've noticed and whatnot. And like I say, I'm just trying to keep an eye on this and see where it's going. All right. That's pretty much enough out of me. Looks like we got a few people in here today. I didn't really think that we would have very many people in here due to, not being Sunday morning. But anyhow, I wanted to go live anyhow. So, okay, All Clean Exteriors LLC says good afternoon from Michigan. So you guys are finally starting to get a little bit nicer weather up there. Andy Pearson says hi from Kansas City, the Kansas side area. Glad you could join us, Andy. Marie's in the house this evening from Louisiana. Andy says 5x5 sound and video. Cool. Appreciate that, Andy. Kim's in the house. Says hello from Iowa. Glad you could join us, Kim. Brian says good evening, sir. Good evening. Glad you could join us, Brian. Kurt's in the house. Says hello from Michigan. Seems like our Michigan followers are getting is growing. Seems like every week we got a few more people from Michigan in here. Brian says, I could definitely use some more quail eggs, LOL. Yeah, I think everybody can. Okay, I got a bunch of people commenting Gopher Ridge and hatching time. Maury Straubel's in the house. Good evening from West Michigan, Quail. Glad you could join us, Maury. I heard Stone has been doing the deed and getting it done properly. That's good. Dane Paget's in the house. Says hello from Georgia. Glad you could join us, Dane. There's another Michigander. Farmer 1956 is evening from Michigan. People up Michigan don't have nothing better to do than watch a live stream. That's good, though. I appreciate it. Buck Reynolds is in the house. He says hello to everyone. Hello, Buck. Glad you could join us. Savage Daughter Farms in the house says hello, everyone. Glad you could join us. Brian Allen says good evening from Alabama and Gopher Ridge. Glad you could join us, Brian. Brian says can't wait for that video. Yeah. Yeah, me too. I mean, I pretty much know how one of the incubators is going to do because I've been using it for the past 4 years. But I'm really curious on the other two because the one incubator that I'm really starting to like, mainly because of its features, and that's the Brinzia. I like the layout. I like the build quality. Now let's see if it can hatch some eggs. I did notice, well, no, I can't tell you because that's in the video. But yeah, I mean, they're all three excellent incubators. I mean, the GQF, it's been a long time favorite of, commercial guys and hobbyists and whatnot. So hatching time, of course, when they came out, they started doing really well. Okay, let's see. Jackie Smith says, AKA Jackie's Kitchen, says hello. I'm from upstate New York. I am new and have no eggs as of yet. I just got my incubator yesterday. I have cages set up and ready to. Cool. Well, welcome to the lovely world of keeping and raising quail. They are pretty much addicting once you get started. I've always said, I just wanted a few when I first started out. And I got up to where I was, pushing 500. And now I'm back down to where I've only got like 20. So it's kind of nice, not having all those quail to have to deal with and clean up after every day. But I kind of miss having them too, because a lot of my, I won't say income, but a lot of the money that came in to take care of the quail was from selling hatching eggs locally and eating eggs and whatnot. Marie says, how are the baby pups and mama doing? They're doing great. The puppies are getting so big. I want to say we're at 2 weeks old now. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that. That's two, a boy and a girl. The boy's the bottom one, I think. Yeah, and the girl's on the top. And then that black thing above the top one, that's that male, the black male. I don't think I got a picture of him right handy here. But yeah, they're doing great. The puppies are growing. I was in there messing with them earlier today, and they started growling at me. I thought that was kind of cool. Let's see. Got to show off the babies. There's the black one right there. So, yep. They're growing. Haven't made up my mind yet. We're talking about keeping that little female. I believe she's going to be a red, and if she is, I would definitely like to keep her. But I don't know. We'll have to see. I've already got 4 dogs. I don't know if I really need another one. Buck Reynolds says, hit that like button. Yeah. Matter of fact, let me hit the like button too. Yeah, we're not doing too bad. 23 people have hit it already. Okay, let's see, where are we? Christine says, working on the automatic watering systems today. Cool. I didn't do much quail stuff today. I did go out and sweep up a little bit in the aviary, but Mainly it was tore one of my hives apart and did an inspection on that. And then I've been working on some boxes in the shop. So, but good luck with the watering system. Bob Cole's in the house. Says, howdy, folks. This is day 21. I got 8 chicks on day 17, 7 left on day 18, and no more. Been in the 20s. I think it will be a bit warmer until it's a bit warmer before I do any hatching. Yeah. How many did you set total? Let's see, 8 on. Oh, okay. What'd you set? Like 15 or 18? Well, at least you got some to hatch, Bob. That's better than nothing. Marie says, I'm a beekeeper and haven't seen or heard any issues. Well, that's good. I mean, I don't know how much Marie watched videos on YouTube, beekeeper videos. Almost all my buddies that are commercial beekeepers or sideliners, they're talking. One guy, what's his name? Nature's Image Farm. I can't think of the guy's name, but he lost all his hives, and he had quite a few. But they'll build back up. And then again, like my friend Brian up in Ohio, he lost all but 3. So I don't know. Kim says, I have bees. I lost 2 colonies, but don't know why. Yeah, if it's anything related to what's going on now, nobody really knows what's causing it. They don't know if it's a Varroa issue bringing in viruses, or my thoughts were at first, because it was all the reports that were coming in from commercial bee farmers that send their bees out to California to pollinate the almond crops. And they were the ones that were reporting all the losses. But then as time went on, a lot more people, started saying, wow, my bees all died. I got a friend up in Michigan. She went into winter with 2 hives, the 2 hives that survived last year in the winter, and she came out, she lost both of them. So, yeah, who knows? Hall Cleanster says, we need a bee corner to follow, wanting to get into bees. Yeah, I had a few people mention that to me about starting a bee channel, but there's so many out there, and I don't barely have time for Coturnix Corner, so I don't really need to put more work on my plate. Hannah says, hello from Minnesota. Glad you could join us, Hannah. Dane says, only have 2 hives, but lost them both over the winter. That seems to be pretty much consistent with what's going on. Is everybody saying that, they went through winter and they came out of winter and they were either really, really low numbers or a total dead out. So, and now people are saying, even the ones that survived, they're getting, bees dying off. So nobody really knows what's going on yet. Tracy says, hello from Minnesota. Glad you could join us, Tracy. There's my buddy Salvador. Santiago says, hi, Terry and everyone from Puerto Rico. Glad you could join us, Salvador. Antoinette says, hi from South Africa. George, glad you could join us, George. From South Africa, that's cool. I wonder whatever happened to my other buddy from South Africa. Him and his wife used to check in all the time. But I think they got out of quail because they ran into some issues. I don't know if it was predators or what, but yeah. David says, bee trapping in Florida should be soon. Yes, my traps are all out. I had, as a matter of fact, I set 2 of them yesterday. Yesterday, me and a buddy of mine went out and hung 2 more traps. So I've got 6 out right now. And that's probably all I'm going to put out because I really don't need any more bees. But if I can get them for free, I'll take them. From My Life says, hi from North Carolina. Glad you could join us. Question. Bob says, ever heard of Australian quail? Not really. Unless, I know some people in Australia that keep Coturnix, but I don't know. I don't think they're called Australian quail. Rosa says, Rose Peden, hi, North Carolina. Glad you could join us, Rosa. Vaughn says, good evening, Terry. I hope everyone have a good weekend. Go for it, please. Yeah, weekend's going pretty good. luckily we had some nice weather. I think we're calling for rain tomorrow. I had a couple more hives I wanted to work, but I got tied up with one. I couldn't find the queen, so I went through the hive twice. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to close it up and call it a day, and we'll try another day. Brian says it's wild, too, because it's absolutely beautiful in Michigan today. Yeah, that's what I heard. My sister said the same thing. Mark says, hi from Utah. I was wondering what you think about the hatching brooders. I'm thinking of buying one this week. The hatching time brooders, they work. I had one, a 3-layer brooder setup, and it worked good. For me, I had to make a few changes to it because being in Florida and my shop always runs like 90 degrees during the summertime. It got a little bit warm in the brooder. They work good. The only thing I didn't care for, those little plastic inserts that they put in there, I didn't use them at all. I pulled them out and I just put the chicks right on the wire. It's plastic, but we'll call it wire. And then I had to turn the heat way down on them because it was just getting way too warm in there. But no, they seem to work fine. The heating element part of it works great. I mean, it's set. It's got a regulator on it that keeps that temperature, in the zone that you want. But watch the chicks. If they're huddling underneath that heating element, turn it down a little bit. If they're huddling underneath the heating element, turn it up a little bit. If they're all at 4 corners of the brooder, you want to turn it down because they're just way too warm. Dragon Girl says, good afternoon. But Mark, I mean, you could build a brooder. I mean, I go to Walmart and I buy those 105 quart plastic Sterilite tubs, and I build a top out of 1x2s and staple hardware cloth to it. And then I just set a clamp lamp on top of that. And I've been using those for years, and they work great. I mean, it's easy to keep clean. They're easy to clean, and they're cheap. Michael says, good evening. Glad you could join us. Mitchell or Michael? I think it's Mitchell. Alexandra says, made it. Glad you could make it, and welcome. Marie says, so precious. Okay, talking about the puppies. Yep. From my life says, so cute puppies. They are cute. And Mama, I mean, Cookie is, you'll notice that Cookie's not in here today. She's with the puppies, but she's such a good mama. She's just now getting to where she'll leave, for an hour or so away from the puppies and go out and go for a walk or whatever. But yeah, I can't wait. I think the puppies are going to start opening their eyes anytime soon. So kind of looking forward to that. Wood Tech says, hey, everyone, a little late, but I made it. Glad you could join us. Appreciate it. Philodice, day 16, first eggs ever. I see them moving around. 10 of 18 still seem viable. Okay, cool. Yeah, they should start hatching the next day or two. So good luck on the hatch. Homestead Matters in the house. Howdy, folks. Hope everyone had a lovely weekend. We did. I did so far. Philodice says, I walked into the room and smelled rotten egg way too many times, cracked and rotted. Yeah, I've had that one time, maybe twice. Open the incubator door and it's like, whew, what on earth died in there? But it's been a long time since I've had that happen. Okay, Bob says, I have 11 eggs unhatched, so 19 in the Brinzia to start. Okay. Well, hopefully you'll get a few more, Bob. If not, I don't know. Are you still having humidity issues where you're at? Tom says, I kept bees for a few years, have had some hives looking good one day, and a few days later, the whole hive would be empty. I've only had that happen to me once. I had one small hive abscond on me, and that was mainly my fault because I wasn't staying up on it was just one single box and not a full-size box. It was a small, like 12 by 12 box. And Yeah, got up one day. I walked out there and I see all these bees buzzing around. At first, I thought they were orientation flights, but they were just pouring out of the hive and flying off. So yeah, it sucked. By the way, I don't know how well you can see it. That's a Gopher Ridge Quail Farm cup. He just sent me this with those eggs. So thanks for the mug or the tumbler, HP. Philadelphia says, I have one egg, not sure if cracked or pipping. Day 15 to 16, most likely cracked. Right. It's hard to say. I mean, if you take that egg and put it up by your nose, if it's dead, you'll know it. I doubt. I mean, it depends on what the crack looks like, but a lot of times just a cracked egg, like from getting a bacterial infection inside the egg and it cracks open. It's more of a different style of crack, like going like long ways. It doesn't look like a pip. You can see when the chick's unzipping, it looks totally different from just a crack in the egg. Mark says, hi from Utah. I was wondering what you think of the hatching time brooders because I'm thinking about, okay, I think we already read that one. But yeah, I mean, they're okay. They're good. You know, if you want to spend the money on them, you know, you don't want to build one. But to be honest with you, Mark, I would just go to Walmart and get you a couple of them Sterilite tubs and build a top for it. You're good to go. And I would put 50, 60 chicks in a Sterilite tub, you know, for up to the first week. And then, you know, you'd have to split them up into multiple tubs. But what happened here? Jackie says, adorable pups. We have German Shepherd and 3 cats. I'm set up comfortably for 30 chicks. This summer, going to build a hutch or 2, LOL. The big plan is meat birds and layers. It's a good plan. I mean, that's actually what I'm kind of converting into now. Not keeping as many quail as I used to. Just enough, you know, to where I've got eggs and you know, meat if I want to butcher a quail now and then. But yeah, the days of me keeping hundreds and hundreds of quail is pretty much over, I think. Alicia says, questions. How do you mow weed eat around your hives without getting stung? I've always wondered. It's not really that big of a deal. I mean, I used to mow back there with the mower, but that would get the bees mad. I guess the vibration from the mower, and they would come out of the hive. They wouldn't bother me. They would go after the lawnmower. So now I just I use a weed eater, and I just, you know, weed eat the whole bee yard, and they really don't pay any attention to me. Negro Kitty says the chemtrail spraying massively ramped up recently. Maybe that's what's happening to the bees. You know, there's quite a few people that have said that, commenting on, you know, the causes for all the dead outs. And yeah, a lot of people have mentioned chemtrails. So I don't know. Hard to say what it is. I know what they're going to call it. It'll be the same thing that happened 20 years ago. They'll call it colony collapse disorder, and they never really gave a reason for it. Somebody I was reading too, somebody was saying that this is something that happens like every 20, 30 years, that, you know, you have a huge die-off and then things come back, start going again. But you would think that we, you know, with all the beekeepers and all the scientists and stuff involved in it, that they would be able to, you know, narrow it down to something. You know, is it viral? You know, what is it? Let's see. Redneck Aquatics is Nacogdoches, Texas, checking in. Glad you could join us. Surprised I could pronounce that. Fred's in the house says, what is the effect of feeding located quail food? I don't know what located is. Local quail food. Medicated quail food. Okay. Thank you, Fred. I'm glad that you if that's all you can get, it's not going to hurt them. They don't need it, but like I say, it's not going to hurt them. I would always recommend a non-medicated feed, and most of the poultry nutritionists say the same thing. You don't need to go with medicated, but if that's all you can find, you know, like a medicated turkey starter, you know, it's not going to hurt your birds. Wow, here's another Michigander. X-Turtle X84 says, hi from Michigan. I raise Coturnix, but I'm having quite a few people asking me about button quail, thinking I might get into it. I know a few people that do the buttons. I never got into them. I mean, like I say, I started out from meat and eggs, but there is a market out there for buttons, obviously, because these people that I know that keep them. Well, Jennifer Bryant from Bryant's Roost, she breeds and sells buttons. So Brian says I also use the totes for brooders. Okay, good. Reptile Rick says, evening all. I looked for the live this morning. I'm glad I didn't miss it. Nope, I missed it. I totally blew it. I forgot all about the time change, and I didn't realize at the time it changed until I either grabbed my phone or the laptop. I can't remember which. But the clock in our bedroom is one that you got to set manually. So I didn't even notice it. I just looked at it. Okay, yeah, it's my normal time I get up, thinking I had plenty of time to do the live. But then I grabbed my phone and like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be live in 10 minutes. That's not going to happen. Redneck Aquatic says, building cages this week, going to hatch the eggs in the high school science class for kids to watch. Cool. Yeah, it's great getting kids involved in that. I wish more people would do that. I mean, I know a couple teachers that do that, and I know, oh boy, I can't remember her name right off the top of my head. She sets up, or actually, I think she's got like an incubator rental deal set up where you can rent an incubator and she gives you eggs and everything. And I know a lot of classrooms set that up. But yeah, I think that's great that you get the kids interested in it. Speaking of kids, if anybody's got kids that want to get into the Coturnix Kids program, we got a lot of great prizes that they can get. Wholesome Harvest supplies feed, a 40-pound bag of feed. Southern Biophiliac and Big Spring Quail supply hatching eggs. Bryant's Roost donates a incubator. Pips and Chicks and Champions Blends sends the kids a Tractor Supply gift certificate. And then Hatching Time sends out a 2-unit layer cage to get them started. So if you guys are interested in that, head on over to coturnixcorner.com. And once you register for that site, go in there. Top nav bar's got links to the Coturnix Kids program and talks all about how to get them set up and whatnot. Reptile Rick says, I'm getting back into raising quail again after a year hiatus. Cool. Tony says, I can't find anyone to take samples for MPIP testing in my area, so I signed up for a class to be able to do it myself. That's cool. A friend of mine up north, a few of you guys might know her, Kristen Kugel. I don't think she's doing quail anymore, but she actually did the same thing. She signed up, did the MPIP testing, and she was able to test her own birds and, go around and help other people out by testing their stuff. So, yeah, I think that's great. Reed says, I'm in central New Mexico, and I'm planning on starting to hatch the first week of April. I'm super excited to get things going. Cool. Yeah, this is the time of year where, people start getting that spring itch. They want to, get, the hatching eggs going, chicken chicks purchased and whatnot. Matter of fact, speaking of chicken chicks, a buddy of mine that used to buy a lot of quail eggs from me and live quail, he called me up and asked me if I wanted some Brahma chickens. And he said, they're huge. They're big, tall birds. And I'm like, really? So I haven't made up my mind yet. He says he's going to collect a bunch of eggs, and I could either hatch out eggs or he'd hatch them and give me the chicks. So but I think I might try hatching them out. If I don't like them, I can always sell them back to him or give them back to him, either one. Robert says, good evening. I just saw the notice of tonight's gathering, 60 here in Minnesota today. Nice. That's summer weather for you guys. Michelle, I think I messed that up already. Do most people raise quail for themselves or to make money with? I think people do it for both. I mean, when I started out, that's what it was, just for, having something to eat, having having eggs. And then people found out that I was doing quail, a lot of people through the channel, and wanted to buy hatching eggs. So it got to where the quail were paying for themselves. I was making enough money on the side to buy all my feed, to buy materials for building cages. So yeah, I mean, I would say a little bit of both. You know, there are some people that are more involved commercially, I guess you'd say, in it, but that's a lot of work. I mean, you've got to have so many birds. I'm talking like thousands of birds in order to keep up with, you know, the demand of hatching eggs and whatnot. So let's see. Ripple Effect says, what brand incubator would you recommend with the best hatch rate? Okay, go to the channel, and the last video I uploaded was incubator comparison. And I'm not going to tell you which one's the best. I can tell you which one I use, but I'm not going to say any of them are better than the other ones. Some of them have features that the other ones don't have. But I mean, hatch rate is, a lot of it's going to depend on you as far as how you set the incubator up, your location. Me being in South Florida, I don't have to put any water in the incubator during incubation because the humidity is so high here that, you know, my levels run 35 to 40% just without any water in the incubator. But yeah, watch that video. We go through 3 different brands, and they're all pretty popular brands: GQF, Brinzia, and Hatching Time. So, I mean, all 3 of them are decent incubators. The one I've been using for the past 4 years is a DIY box that I built, and also a Hatching Time incubator. But my DIY boxes, they work as well as the Hatching Time. They work as well as any incubator I've ever used. You know, put it that way. Robert says, getting back into jumbos again. Some eggs from HP. Cool. HP's got some really nice jumbos. Big Beaver Slayer says, anyone else notice a sudden demand for hatching eggs? Last 8 people that asked for eggs wanted fertile. Seems out of the ordinary. Yep. It's that time of year where pretty much everyone I know that sells hatching eggs is behind. HP Murray is, I think he's booked up through the end of March, probably getting into April now. So I see HP's in here if you want to comment on that, HP. But yeah, right now it's a big demand for it. And this pretty much happens this time of year, you know, all the time, every year. I see it all the time on the channel that, you know, the activity level on Coturnix Corner picks up immensely from January through June, and then, you know, it'll slow down a little bit. But, you know, it's springtime. Everybody's getting into, you know, setting up their new eggs and their new chicks for this year. And see, Bob says, I took a Sterilite, cut a huge hole in the top, added wire, kept the outer edge for a good fit, cut out the bottom 2, added PVC coated wire on that, used textured paper towels in the first week. Cool. You're pretty ingenious there, Bob. That's what I like doing. I like coming up with ideas that, you know, a lot of people don't work or don't try. Go for Ridge says, you slipped up on the working man, moving the chucker to the brooder. Cool. Slipped up on the working man. HP's the hardest working man I know. HP, now that you're in here, okay. Now that you're in here, HP, I had some people on the last live stream ask me if you'd be interested in coming on and notice I do this live, so you're kind of calling you out on this one. If you'd be interested in coming on the live stream and talk about game birds. I guess we've got quite a few people that are into game birds, Bob Whites and other game birds, and kind of wanted to know if you'd be interested in that. Bob said, I also built a wooden frame and added a large baking sheet underneath with sawdust wood chips for the next 2 weeks. You're a smart man, Bob. Hannah says, I love Brahmas. Dark Brahmas have great personalities. Yep, that's what he was saying. That I guess the hens like to go broody. That was one of the things that got me kind of thinking about doing it. But I don't know. Then I got bees in my backyard. I got quail in my backyard, and now to add a few more chickens, I don't know. I got to think about that one, but I most likely will do it. Tony says hi from Toronto. Glad you could join us again, Tony. Goatbridge Quail says, HP says, disclaimer, those I will be shipping birds to this week. If they arrive with web feet, I will reship on my dime. Yes, it's raining in Georgia. That's great. Reptile Rick says, this time actually works better for me since I usually work Sunday morning, so I don't get to watch live. Yeah, I've had a few people tell me that before, that evenings work better, but usually the evenings don't work good for me because I'm usually out in the shop till 9:30, 10 o'clock anyhow. But no, I wanted to go live today because I know I missed it this morning, and there were a few people that I know would have been here waiting for it, and I felt bad for missing the time change. X Turtle says, I live in the city and I start raising quail to sell at our monthly Reptile Expo as feeders. Yeah, it's a good market. I know a couple people that do feeders. Brian says, I'm running about 45 to 47% humidity in my GQF without the wicking pads in it in central Michigan. Wow, that's pretty good. I had to actually add water. I took the wicking sponges out and put water in the tray, and I only got it up to about 38. I think it was 36 to 38. Okay, HP says he's 4 to 5 weeks out on shipping eggs. Regular chickens were hard to get too. Yeah, I seen that. I noticed that even Tractor Supply is out of chicks right now. And when they get them in, they're gone, as fast as they come in. So, and go for its sales for a nominal fee. Okay, you let me know how much added onto that bill for those hatching eggs, and at the end of the month, I'll pay it when I get the invoice. Ryan says, I raised pheasants, but just recently got into quail. So that would be a great live. I agree. Savage Daughter Farm says, we have standard Cochins, and the girls carry them around like pets. I hope I said that right. Cochins, is that what they are? Cool. I used to like the Silkies. I gave a lot of Silkies to my neighbor a couple doors down. And I kick myself in the butt every time I go by his house because they're all grown up now and laying eggs, and the roosters are crowing, and they pathetic little crow. But yeah, I should have hung on to some of them. CW said, where's the best place to purchase hatching eggs? I live in Central Florida and not sure if I need to worry about how far the eggs are coming from. HP Murray, go for Ridge Quail. He's up in Georgia. He can get them to you. Let's see. I also appreciate this time. Glad I've been able to catch it live for a couple of weeks. Cool. Savage Daughter Farm says the ACBA website has most NPIP shippers listed, so you can find the one closest to you. There you go. Savage Daughter Farm says, go for Ridge, Brian Truce, Sleeping Otter Farm. There are a lot to choose from. Do your research and find out what you want. Always do research. Saw a note from Brian and realized I didn't put the wicking pads back in for this hatch. Was that your issue, Bob? Did you have a humidity issue? And are you monitoring it during the hatch? Reptile Rick says most of all the large chicken farms are sold out for shipping chicken chicks at least until August. Yeah, and I wonder if that has anything to do with the bird flu. It's like I was reading an article. It was either yesterday or this morning. I can't remember which. About the number of chickens that were killed in farms that were completely wiped out. They came in there and they saw just a few birds that had symptoms of avian influenza, killed the entire farm, all the chickens. You know, what I find funny is, why is it only the United States that's having issues with bird flu? And if the wild bird, if it's because of wild birds and stuff like they say, why isn't it here all the time? None of this stuff makes any sense to me. Anyhow, Zort says, getting into quail soon. There are so many variations. What's the name of the jumbo Coturnix that is feather sexable at a month? Just your standard jumbo pharaohs. Get jumbo pharaohs. HP's got jumbo pharaohs. He's got jumbo pharaoh white wings. All of them are feather sexable at 3 to 4 weeks. Boy, I haven't been coughing this much lately. Has to be the smoke. Savage Daughter Farm says everyone's getting chickens due to the cost of eggs. Yeah, but the problem is, by the time the chicks they get start laying eggs, the egg prices will be coming back down in the stores because all the new farms that are getting new chicks, they're growing up too. So I don't know. I thought about doing it, but I'll just eat my quail eggs. Necro Kitty says 100 million chickens killed, but only 10K tested positive. There you go. I don't know. I think there's more behind it, but I'm not going to go into it because I don't want people calling me a conspiracy theorist. Big Beaver Slayer says, my local feed store is bugging me weekly for quail chicks, buying every one I hatch as fast as I can hatch them. Nice. Well, at least you got a market. Yeah, same down here. I mean, I got 3 or 4 people that I normally sell to, and they've been hitting me up, at least, if not once a week, every other week, wanting either hatching eggs or chicks. David says, do you think chicken meat is going to rise? I mean, if they're killing off all the birds, I can't see why it wouldn't. I don't know. I don't eat chicken. I don't buy chicken. I can't say I don't eat it, but yeah, I think it's already kind of high priced. Savage Daughter Farm says, quarantine. We have a lot more swap meets and bird exchanges than other countries. Yeah, but I mean, if you've got who's going to take sick birds to swap meets? I mean, I would think that people should be able to identify anything in their flock that's got avian influenza or is acting sick. I don't know. I still think there's more to this whole avian influenza than we're being told. Bob says, yes, humidity set for 70%. Brinsley has a water pump system, but without the wicking pads, and I doubt it would work correctly. Yeah, the wicking pads, Bob, are going to give you more surface area, which will allow you to get a higher humidity. You can set it for 70, but the Brinsley water pump and the Barato's water pump, the Serio, they call it, I don't think they really do much more than just pump water into the tank, regardless of where you have it set at. I don't know. That's something I got to play with on this. I got the Brinsley pump out there right now. I just pulled it out and set it up. I'm not using it yet. I'm just adding water manually, but yeah. Christine says conspiracy realist. Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that one, but yep. Yuppers, it's high because they kill all the birds on the farm, even the ones testing negative. Well, maybe they ought to go out and kill all the wild birds because that's what they're blaming it on. So I think there's more to it than this. Brian says, I got to go. I go to almost every bird swap around Michigan, but when I buy birds, I quarantine them to another part of my property for about a month and medicate them. There you go. Good thing to do is quarantine. All right, guys, we are down at the bottom of the list. It is 10 minutes to 8. So I am going to select a couple winners here. Negro Kitty says, can't have the government come in and kill off all your birds over bird flu. if you never NPIP test them. Yeah, well, if they don't know you've got birds, that's a fact. And I think that was back when I first started talking about NPIP on the channel, and I was getting a few more birds than I originally started with. That was one of the things everybody's saying, oh, you don't want to get NPIP because then the government has a list of you, and they know you're raising quail, and yeah. So yeah, it kind of goes both ways, but I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Lady in Hawaii says, pig farmer turning to quails. Thanks for all your videos. Absolutely. Hope you enjoy them. Ripple Effect says they created the problems with chickens, causing a shortage to drive up prices to rip us off more, and I'm sure they will vaccinate chickens after this. John says, thanks, Terry, for your video from Katy, Texas. Not a problem. Thanks for joining us. Kurt says, I put 20 in the freezer this weekend and moved 50 to the brooder, getting 30 plus eggs a day. What great little birds Coturnix are. Absolutely. I agree. All right, let me get back up here and see. All right, guys, if I call your name, let me put my email address in here. You're going to email me your information to terry@coturnixcorner.com. And make sure I get a good email address, a good phone number, and your address. And your name, because a lot of people's names don't match what their username is here on YouTube. So I need a good name, too, if it's different. All right, where are we at here? I'm trying to select some people that I haven't called on in a while. Fawn Taylor, you're in the house. I'm going to give you some hatching eggs from HP Murray. All right. Where are we? I need somebody with a Necro Kitty. You're getting a $50 Hatching Time gift certificate. Okay. Yeah, like I said, email me your shipping address, good name, good phone number, good email address. And I will forward that on to the people that need it. And we'll go from there. Farmer Marshall says, my first set of quail eggs is in my incubator. Cool. Good luck on the hatch. Jackie Smith says, quail makes so much sense during these times. Yes, they do. Okay, here's my email address for those who are winners today. Zuar says, great videos, no BS, just good information. Thank you. Cool. Appreciate that. Necro Kitty says, yay. Bob says, thanks, Terry, for what you do. Absolutely, Bob. And we got a bunch of congrats to the winners. Hit that like button, Bob says. Go for Ridge Quail says, hit the like button. And Reptile Rick says, thanks for the live, Terry. Absolutely. All right, guys. We are at the end of the late to the party. Hey, y'all. Glad you could join us, CJ. Yes, and we are about ready to pull the plug on this one. Only 39 likes. Y'all hit the smash the like button. Let me refresh that page. Now it looks like it's up to about 42, which is better than nothing, I guess. All right, guys. Again, thanks for joining me tonight. We will. I don't know if I'm going live Tuesday. I got to see if I can come up with a guest, and if we do, we will we will go live Tuesday. Otherwise, I would try to make it on next week, Sunday, for the actual morning musings instead of evening musings. But anyhow, thanks for joining me, guys. Really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'm going to head out in the shop and start making small pieces of, or large pieces of wood and the small pieces of wood, and yeah, that kind of stuff. So again, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next week.